Happy Sunday, YouTube. So, during times of difficulty, pain, or anguish, uh, those of us of faith turn to our faith for answers. We turn to our faith for guidance. We turn to our faith for hope and comfort. So, I wanted to share what the church or what faith was saying during these times of protesting against police brutality. These protests that's going on nationwide and even internationally as a result of the killing of George Floyd. So I wanted to share again what the church is saying, what men and women of the cloth, what are they saying? So that is what these clips of videos will be about.
People keep saying now is the time for healing. Let's come together. But I've heard you say maybe people aren't ready to heal at this particular point in time. What do you mean by that?
There's no way we can have healing. It's like opening up somebody in the middle of a surgery and say, let's heal while they're still bleeding. It's not healing that we're after, it's change that we're after. If we need to reset the bone, let's do it now while everything is open. If we need to remove the cancer, let's remove it now. But you don't want to heal in the middle of a surgery. We want to heal when things are right. And I think that our rush to get back to normalcy has caused us to over and over again be unproductive in bringing about long-term systemic changes that are actionable, that are satisfying, and that causes America to live up to its creed and its highest ideals. We've got the right ideals, we just don't live up to them.
Partiality is and prejudice is not just something that upsets God or that disappoints God or that frustrates God with us. No, let me tell you something. Prejudice, partiality is what the Bible calls a sin. It is a sin, and it is a sin that God himself will not tolerate. James 2:8 says your calling is to fulfill the royal law of love as given to us in the scripture that says you must love and value your neighbor as you love and value yourself. Keeping this law is the noble way to live. But when you show prejudice, you commit sin. When you show prejudice, you commit sin and you violate the royal law of love. The sin of prejudice is not a minor issue to God. I want everybody to hear me. I want people my color to hear me. I want you to hear me loud and clear that when we violate the law of God that says love your neighbor, your Asian neighbor, your black neighbor, your Hispanic neighbor, your white neighbor, love them as yourself. And if you don't do that, we have violated the laws of God, and you don't have a right, and I don't have a right to walk around and call myself Christians when I violate the law of God. It is a sin, and we got to get it out of our hearts.
We want what you want. It's not a mystery. We want to grow old. We want to live. We want a chance at opportunities. We want better education. We want access to lending practices. We want that when a PPP comes through and the CARES Act comes down, we want the bank to treat us like they treat you and to give equal access to opportunities. We want that. We just want to live. And let me say this. There are some people that are black that get arrested that absolutely should be arrested. They did a crime, or they're belligerent, or they're out of control, or they broke out a window, or they were beating their wife, or they were abusive or something. And we are not asking not to be arrested. We're just asking not to be tried on the sidewalk. That's all. Just don't arrest me, try me, convict me, and kill me on the sidewalk. While you take the other victim who killed 8 people in a church.
You gave him McDonald's.
and you take them out to get something to eat. As far as I could tell, George Floyd did not get anything from Burger King. And he didn't kill anybody. And you can't say you can't see that. You can't be that blind that you don't see that. And I challenge us today to work on just being better people.
Archbishop Jose Gomez had this to say: "The killing of George Floyd was senseless and brutal, a sin that cries out to heaven for justice. How is it possible that in America, a black man's life can be taken from him while calls to help are not answered, and his killing is recorded as it happens?" This is Pastor William Cumbie, and on the right side is my cousin, Pastor Sammy Dow, of Pastor Pleasant Grove Missionary Baptist Church, I think that's the name, in Marietta, Georgia. And they're talking about blacks getting justice. And I'll just play the clip.
Rote? Has it become passe? Has it become, I don't know, just cliche to say, wow, black? You know, and how do I deal with this? I read also this quote that says that with man, justice is rendered, not given. Man, what do you think about that? Justice is rendered, not given. With man, not God. We'll take that part next. But it says with man, justice is rendered, but not given.
It's interesting because I shared this. I'm trying to find it. So I shared this. I wish I could remember the name of the lady who said this on our NAACP leadership call we had last week. She said, justice isn't cheap.
Okay.
Justice isn't cheap. Oftentimes, when we look at this whole notion of, justice is rendered, I don't know that it is.
Okay.
I don't know that it is. I don't know that black folks in America have experienced justice in a way. These are my personal thoughts.
Personal thoughts. Okay.
Where we can define it and then say that we have attained it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what we have unfortunately had to become accustomed to are semblances of justice that appease for the moment, while we are also made even more numb to the reality of what it means to be black in this country.
Okay.
So we now are to the point where we will celebrate the arrest of the men who killed Ahmaud Arbery. And for many people, they feel the work is done at the point of arrest because we have no full understanding of the nuances of the American, I would call it injustice system or injustice system that says there's still a whole process to happen here. There's a trial. There are preliminary hearings. There's so much to happen before we quote unquote get justice. And then I have to go even further than that. Ask the question: what is really justice when somebody's life has been taken? Is there really justice for that? There's nothing you can give a community that undoes the trauma that is inflicted and imposed when someone's life is unjustly taken, is heinously taken. You can convict, you can sentence to jail time, you can do all of this. You can fire them because now we understand that for the officers involved in killing George Floyd, they've been fired. Okay, great, but this man is still dead.
Right.
So
I will post the this 11 minutes, about 11 or 12 minute interview or video in its entirety in the description and in the comments. The point that Pastor Sammy Dow was making is that we not only want justice, we not only want a conviction, but we want change. It's just as Bishop T.D. Jakes said. Bishop T.D. Jakes said, you know, this is not a time for healing. This is a time for change. And what they mean by that is, let's not even get to the point where we need justice, because we want to get to the point where police is no longer killing black people over a simple arrest, mistaken identity, over $20. This is Miss Cruiser. Please like, share, and subscribe.